How are you?
I'm good. How are you? You missed, your colleague was here the last time I was here, not this
Catherine,
meeting, the
yeah.
meeting before. 11 o'clock.
I
said it's me.
I might have been her too.
Every time I'm here. Oh, please, not tonight. Not tonight.
Here he is.
Hello. How are you?
Are you happy to hear my voice on
I was. I just didn't get a chance. That should be town roads. Yeah.
I'm concerned because there's a lot of discussion that they're not, and I need
By who?
by people.
I don't know. Look on the. Should be on the maps.
I can't find it. And I went to the superintendent meeting he was on vacation.
Hello.
Something to have a sign that Oradell Ave is also
Oh, he's not going to sign that.
He's not.
I know, he's the DPW, they should know.
Yeah, but
You
he's
can
not,
talk to the attorney.
he's not going to sign it. Oh, thanks.
I got to use the restroom before we get started.
Drive all the way to Hackensack to the county courthouse.
No, but if you look on the street maps, it'll tell you if it's a county road or not.
Where? What street map? I've looked at maps.
Google Maps.
I have something from Google, but it's vague. I mean, it does say toward one end.
Or look on the.
What about the tax map? Yeah. The tax
Things that
assessor
are
has a
outside
tax
here.
map. Yeah. The tax assessor has a tax map.
Katie's not in there.
Oh, yeah, I know.
But it would be Katie upstairs. Or do I have to go to Jim?
Either one, they have it. They have the tax. Yeah, it actually, too.
I did go on Google and I have something, but it says like the lower end.
Yeah, yeah.
I wish it would name the street or from the intersection. The railroad track.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just look on the tax map. You'll see like your house, the block and lot. You'll see the road in front of it. You should know your own block and lot, right? Yeah.
I don't know if it has like a route number that it's not.
You have, on your tax bill, you should have a block and lot. For you, I mean. So you're saying the road runs in front of your house, right? And then up.
No, I'm talking about, Grant does run
Oh,
in front of my house.
okay.
But now I'm talking about Oradell.
Okay.
In certain areas, but not all of it.
Right.
Down by me, but I can't find.
Try the tax map. Yeah.
Yeah, go on the count. They're literally right outside there.
It is right out here.
Yeah.
You don't need those Mylar things.
Those are tax maps. Yep.
Because I looked at that. I look at that.
What I would suggest too is go onto the county's website. I think they have it.
Go on the county website. They were sending me all day, and it wasn't
Yeah.
I don't know. It may be clear. You just may not know what you're looking for.
be made, but
No.
You're probably on the microphone, so.
It was very simple. How long it's been since
He's coming from Oradell, but he's going super fast. I yelled at him, slow down, and Carolyn was moving, and he stopped.
it's practical.
Yeah, I like vans. I wish I had a van.
But I was scared.
I'm gonna, that one died.
Or one of them.
I've got.
People go really fast.
Jeep is
Oh, it's very
car nobody wants.
The other day,
I always get the car I
Somebody pulled in to turn around and like just went right in, almost hit the back of the car.
Mine's, no, my Alpine's, mine's 12. So it has nothing.
Like Seminole has stop signs with
That's great. Yeah, that's great. Not so much. How you doing, Ed?
so almost across from me, and right.
You all set?
You guys ready? Congratulations. Ready? Good to see you guys. Good? All three
I
working?
have seen the screen
I just wanted to represent.
satellites.
I just asked her what day.
But, and I saw you guys back there, but I'm like, is this a session or are they doing something? Oh, so it's just, yeah. Did I leave your? Yeah. Okay. Was it Jeff? Again?
So he's going to say Mark Johnson on that so she just summarized it. It went a lot better.
Yeah.
You guys all set? Oh, we're waiting for Maggie. I'm just going to wait 1 second for Councilwoman Harrer to return.
Excuse me, everyone, the door was locked up and I couldn't get in, so I had to jog around. Apologies.
Okay, good evening, everybody. I'm going to call the public session of the meeting to order. Meeting was called to order at about 6:50 in closed session to discuss litigation and affordable housing. I'll just restate the Open Public Meetings Act. Notice of this meeting was published in the official newspapers and prominently posted in Borough Hall and filed with the municipal clerk in accordance with the requirements of the Open Public Meetings Act. I'll do the Pledge of Allegiance. Council President Kelly.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. May we have a roll call, please, Laura?
Mayor Koth.
Here.
Mr. Kelly.
Here.
Mr. Tastian.
Here.
Mr. Kern.
Here.
Mr. Fellow.
Here.
Ms. Harrer.
Here.
Mr. Banfield.
Okay. Presentation. I'd like to invite up is Lillian Schnackenberg here to come on up and talk to us about your gold project.
Hello and good evening. My name's Lillian Schnackenberg. I'm 16 and I'm going to be a junior at Riverdale High School. To give you a better idea of who I am, I'm the president of the robotics club. I do girls varsity. I'm on the girls varsity team for golf, and I've been a Girl Scout for roughly 8 years. I've been a member of Troop 96950 since moving to Oradell almost 5 years ago. I'm working towards earning my Gold Award, which is the most prestigious honor one can achieve as a Girl Scout. As some of you may know, the Girl Scout Award requires over 100 hours of time and dedication to a specific issue I see in my community. After much deliberation, I decided to focus on period poverty here in Oradell. Period poverty is a term to describe the inability for one to afford menstruation products, access to hygiene facilities, or receive an education on menstrual health. A couple weeks ago, I walked around town to investigate Oradell's public restrooms, including DPAC, Memorial Park, and the Oradell Public Library. I noticed that all the restrooms were clean and well kept, but they did not have pads or tampons. The question I would like to answer by the end of my project is, if toilet paper is free in public restrooms, why aren't menstrual products? When our residents begin their periods in public spaces, some have no choice but to go home to get the products they need. Many of our residents, including myself, want to use public spaces without having to cut our visit short. Half of our residents menstruate, but our public spaces do not recognize it. It comes down to whether we want to provide for everyone or be discriminatory. Our residents shouldn't be restricted from comfort and inclusivity. One of my goals for my project is to install free menstrual product dispensers in Oradell public restrooms. I understand that money is a question, and that is why I would like to talk to my town council and approach a solution. From there, we can decide if raising money would be best. I propose installing these dispensers with the help of AntFlow. AntFlow is a company dedicated to making period products freely accessible in all public restrooms. AntFlow has already reached universities, airports, libraries, and government offices. I am eager to see AntFlow reach Oradell soon. Now, I am only in the early stages of my project, and the real work will not begin until I receive approval from you and the Girl Scout committee. Your approval would mean the world to me and so many others here in town. It would also allow me to proceed with my project. I would like to thank Ms. Lyons for putting me on the agenda tonight. I would also like to thank my mayor and town council for your time and consideration. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Lillian. Does anybody have any questions?
No, I just wanted to say it's a very worthy project, and I think particularly as girls are growing up, it's nice to know that there's someplace in a bathroom where they could get what they would need if they needed to. And so thank you for thinking of the project.
Everybody's good?
Yeah.
Okay.
Very good luck with your project.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I look forward to working with
Okay. Next under discussion, who's handling the calendar discussion?
Decisive, I like it. Short and sweet. So as everyone is aware, we print a calendar every year, which we spend a lot of time putting together, and we know that there's a lot of value for the residents. And I think one of the things we'd like to offer, and I say this on the record, that the printed calendar is not going away, but we're trying to be smart about recycling and resources and whatnot. So in the age of digital, we would like to do an opt-in process this year rather than mailing 3,000 plus calendars, not knowing the usage of every household, but knowing that, let's just say 50% use it, but the calendar would be available electronically on the website, other mediums that people could access if they wanted it digitally. So one of the things I'm proposing to the council for us to consider is everyone by de facto would get a calendar unless they reached out to us and said, I'd care not to get one this year type thing. We'll still have them available in the senior center. They'll still be available in the borough offices, DPW, police, etc. So we're just trying to be a little bit more environmentally friendly and maybe save a few dollars, but also give the option for people, because now everyone uses a tablet. But I still use the calendar. It sits on my refrigerator. I like having a physical calendar, but we know some people don't. So I just wanted to put it out there. It looks like I did kind of since 2023, the printing alone increases on average 8% a year. And that's not even including the postage, which is like about $1,000 to go to all $3,000. Did I cover all that correctly? Good. So just for consideration, I would like to get ahead of this sooner rather than later. And if the council has any feedback, certainly if any of you here tonight have feedback or anyone viewing from home, again, the calendar is not going away. The physical calendar, we will still be able to mail it to all the residents who would want it, but we're just trying to be a little bit more environmentally friendly. So just that's for consideration. We would probably have to start the opt-in or opt-out process, whatever we decide, shortly after Labor Day, because we want to obviously try to get the calendar out in January rather than later.
How are you planning to outreach to the public?
So we're going to work with the senior committee, Tom. We're going to obviously do it social media. We're going to post it on the website. We'll, kind of do reminders at different meetings, and kind of be a little bit more progressive and electronic. Send out email, like we have obviously a list for the seniors. We have other lists. Just really communicate it out to any of the distribution that we have.
So the database will be kept on our records, correct?
Correct. But the other thing, Maggie, is people can go to the borough website, and there's a question there that they can, opt in, opt out type thing.
All right, the other thing I wondered is last year, unfortunately, the OPTV was left off the calendar for the first time in my memory. And I wanted to be sure that with all the awards they've been winning and with the incredible ability they have to give information to our public and keep us informed, I wanted to be sure that they were on the calendar this year and that oversight was corrected.
Yeah, so that's an editorial, and I agree with you, and you and I spoke about that. This is just distribution.
No, I understand, but since you brought up the calendar,
understood.
I just remembered last year being astonished that for the first time in decades they weren't a part of it.
Yep.
I have a question. Will this be integrated with the borough calendar that's on the website? So it would be like the printed calendar, except that would be updated on the website. So you could.
Yeah, that's a great question, Dave. Because we're moving to that new platform for the website, there'd be some integration from an editorial standpoint.
Good. So you wouldn't have to look two places.
Correct.
Good. Well,
Correct.
that's an improvement.
Yep.
And you haven't decided, you're looking for input whether it's an opt-in or opt-out for the printed version?
Negative consent is always easier because everyone will get the calendar unless you say, I don't want it.
Right.
We just never want to make the assumption that you don't want the calendar.
Thank you.
Yep.
So just based on that last statement, I thought it was going to be you can opt in.
I think we should just decide what's the easier. Now that I say that, I actually think opt out.
Everybody's going to get it then, So here's what was my suggestion.
Sure.
Was I like the negative option. If you like it,
Correct.
You let us know if you want it. But I also
if we don't
think
hear from you,
it's going to be online.
Correct.
Or you can.
But
pick
here's
one
the
up.
other option. I think there should be a third box. I will pick one up at the Borough Hall.
That's fair.
Okay.
You could do
this
that.
way, it would save us mailing,
The
but somebody
postage.
could still pick up a hard copy.
Correct.
Roger, I'm sorry, you're talking away from your mic and I'm having a lot of trouble hearing you.
No problem.
So you wanted to opt in or opt out?
I want people to opt in if
Okay.
they want it, with another checkbox that says, I'll pick one up at Town Hall. Save us postage, because we're not going to print 3,000 anymore.
Correct.
The goal would be maybe print 1,000. Okay? And so that this way there's, a box and availability here. I mean, that's a significant savings of tax dollars. So.
I agree with that. Yeah, if there's a box here, if I do nothing, I don't get one, but I can
Pick
come
one
down
up.
here and pick one up.
Okay.
I would agree. I think that's prudent.
Good. All right.
So just a question I have about what we think people value most about the calendar. Do you think they value most reading about the different departments and other things we describe, or do you think they like to know when things are happening in town that they should know about?
When things are happening.
I agree.
Is it garbage?
Recycling or garbage?
Garbage shoveling.
The same copy is like year after year.
Correct.
right? When we talk about the fire department, the police department, this, to that, I mean, stuff probably hasn't been edited in years. It's just the same copy.
I think
That same damn picture where I put the snow.
so. Jim, I think it's phone numbers, like easy access information, when recycling, when garbage, when Borough Hall is closed, like.
Right. So I'm very supportive. I think it's all a great idea. I think there's some things we already have at our fingertips that we may just need to communicate better to people, like the recycle
I'm sorry,
coach
Jim,
app.
you're doing the same thing. You're talking completely to the left, and I'm not quite
Well,
hearing.
I'm trying to look at who I'm talking to.
That's okay. Can you put your mic in front of you somehow? Thank you. I apologize. I'm just not hearing you.
I think that we should better educate folks on some of the stuff we have that already does this for you. If you want to put Recycle Coach as an app on your phone, you can set it up where you're getting reminders that tomorrow is commingled. Next Wednesday is this.
Tomorrow is
trash
cardboard.
pickup. Somebody's awake. But that's as far as the sanitation and recycling goes, right?
Yeah.
There are other things where, and I know we're looking at our website currently and the provider, where you can also sign up for the app. Englewood has an app where I think Ridgewood has it too, where different community activities, you'll automatically get that badge or that thing scrolling up on your phone saying, hey, tonight's a concert at Memorial Field at 7 p.m. or whatever. And I think that may be most useful to people because they want to know what's going on or when they can go see what it is they're looking forward to seeing. So I think as we think about how to perhaps reduce our paper footprint on the calendar, maybe we can move this discussion, move the chains even further, not so much for next season, but look at it in a way that is forward thinking on how we can maybe do some things with some of the technology we currently have that better communicates, just tells people when things are going on, right? Instead of them having to go look for it.
In addition, one thing I like to look at the calendar for is the artwork. I think it's really charming to see the students' work.
So, on that note, we took a leave of that last year because the participation had kind of dwindled in the prior 2 years or so. It was hard to get as many drawings, and it made it hard to even fill it. So I think we went back to the photography of around town this past calendar. So I would definitely need to know that direction, like now, because we usually send that memo out to the school, and then we usually get the deadlines around Thanksgiving to get the artwork back. So I don't know if that's something you want to revisit, or you'd prefer the photographs that we've done.
Well, I obviously haven't been looking as carefully at the calendar as I thought I was.
It was just this past year we went back to photographs. We had been doing for many years the artwork, but it really had dwindled the participation to fill the 11 or 12.
So actually, because you are the OPS liaison and school liaison,
Yes.
maybe we could coordinate and reach out to Dr. Elbro and Dr. Bozios about doing something in short order.
I'd be happy to do that. Obviously, time frame is short. We can talk about that. Failing that, Sam Trips has come up with some remarkable historic photographs, and we consider using some of those.
And we've done that in the past years before we migrated to the artwork. We had done notable residents. We had done historical photos. The historical committee's been very helpful back in the past. I think I even have a list of about 10 years worth of themes that we had picked somewhere I could pull out.
I'll reach out to the schools.
When do you normally send that request to them, Laura? At the beginning of the year?
I usually send them like right at the beginning of school. I send them a letter explaining the whole, usually with the theme, because a theme has to be picked, because otherwise you get a whole lot of different drawings and they wouldn't be cohesive in the calendar. And then we usually check in throughout the fall to see how the submissions are coming. We'll do like a gentle reminder. And then right before Thanksgiving is usually when they would be picked up or brought over from. And then at one point we had the council kind of judging them because we were trying to get a full spectrum of submissions from each grade. And that was what was becoming difficult as well, of getting enough submissions from each grade to be represented. But that's roughly around the time frame, so that we had a full month to go through and select to get to the printer.
Okay,
Yeah, but all of that can be changed.
okay, thank you. Anything further on the calendar? Ted, you got what you need?
I did, thank you.
Okay, next, proposed honorary naming ordinance draft. Everybody have a chance to take a look at what the ordinance committee's been working on, which they would eagerly like us to take to a vote next meeting. Since I'm the guy that's been holding this up because I didn't review it until recently, I guess I'll start with a few. I know what we're trying to do here. I'm very sensitive about putting us in a negative light where somebody says, I want to do something to honor somebody and recognize somebody, and we find that that's not appropriate. That's not good news to receive, right? You think you got somebody in such a high esteem that you've gone around, you've collected a few things, and we say, well, we don't think that fits the criteria, or it's not at the level of the criteria that we think it should be. It would concern me that we would be telling people no if that's what we felt as a group, right? The second thing is this almost looks like a menu of something I can choose. The whole co-naming thing is concerning to me because while I know this has been done at a few select places, I can think of maybe 2, 3 maximum. What's to stop this from popping up all over town? And then do people get confused? Because I know in New Milford they have something similar and they reference the street the way they want to reference it. Like Clover's Corner, right? I'm on Clover's Corner or whatever versus 613 Oradell Avenue, right? So does the co-naming create confusion? And again, I know you've put criteria in here that kind of outlays generally, and you can't get too specific, you have to be general, about what we think may qualify for somebody to be considered. We're asking for 30 or 25 people to sign a petition to say, we feel this is worthy of consideration. We have over 8,000 residents in town. I mean, having a street named after, like, look around, right? We got mayors, slain soldiers in battle, astronauts. There's very significant things that decisions have been made throughout time to recognize people in a way. And I think we do need something to handle that process because it shouldn't be flying by the seat of our pants and whatever group of us is up here at that given time makes a decision one way versus another. But I'll relate this to something I dealt with at work, which is like the naming of benches and dedicating trees. So what happens when something breaks in the instance of a bench or a tree dies? Are we obligated to replace that? I know we talk about the fact that there's some language in here that says there's a limitation on it, but are we really going to take an honorary naming off the street sign pole after 25 years? Who's tracking that? So I think there's difference between honorary naming and sponsorships, or somebody says, hey, I want to donate a bench or I want to donate a tree. I think we can all talk about that in the same kind of a thing. And I'm not saying that this is bad work product. Don't take this the wrong way, please. I'm looking at the ordinance committee. I know you guys have had this for quite some time. I think that we need to bake this thing a little bit more, and I think that the council should really, as a whole, should provide you comments back on. I'll certainly do it on my point. But, you know, we say things like multiple co-namings of the same street corner is discouraged. We just say it's not allowed, right? Once a street corner has been done or a street's been named, we're not taking that person's name off the thing. I thought it was great to see that somebody needed to be deceased for this to happen so that we don't name something after somebody. Then all of a sudden they do something stupid and we've got this thing named after them that we have to go take down, right? That's happened before. Not in Oradell, thankfully. Yeah, those are just some of my initial takes on having some experience with this and reading what we put together. The one thing I wanted to say was, I didn't see anything in here, and maybe I didn't look at it, that allows the council to act as of right outside of this process. Like, what if we decide, or we discuss amongst ourselves something that we should do for somebody, but nobody's come forward with a signed petition with however many names and a proposal? Are we not allowed to do that, or do we have to go through that process ourselves?
I think in point E, unless I think they are capturing that there. I have some of the same kind of comments, but the Borough Council may also, in its discretion, grant the naming where the proponent sets forth the rationale, which not exactly.
Yeah, so it's not.
That sounds like it's giving the council some discretion.
I'm sorry,
Yeah.
Tom, where? Oh, could you?
Point E, it looks like.
Point
Yeah,
E,
page
thank you.
2.
Yeah,
Yeah.
to the mayor's point, but
So, Mayor, I want to address some of these concerns. So, I think the ordinance, and we discussed this in the committee for a long time, is that it really gives, one, a driving mechanism for streets to be named in this honorary process that we didn't have before. That's the first thing. The second thing is, at the end of the day, it is, boiled down to everything at the mayor and council's discretion. So we have until, if somebody comes up with a petition, proposal, brings it forth, we have until, I think, the end of November 30th, to vote on that. So at the end of the day, we could not vote on it. We could, if it's somebody who's been famous, or somebody who we just, don't want to put on a particular, sign at this particular time, we have the right as mayor and council to vote that down at the November 30th deadline. So there is a mechanism for that as well. But all in all, it's just one driver that we didn't have before to place on our ordinance.
Well, there is one way to help alleviate some of the mayor's concerns, would be if they came to the mayor and council first and took a temperature of the mayor and council before they went out to get a petition. So it's almost like, let's gauge it, and then if there's an interest and the mayor and council think that there's opportunity, then you can go out and get the petition.
Right, of course.
So, but it's kind of changing the process a little bit.
I don't know, Roger, that sort of makes the mayor and council very deus ex machina. They make all the decisions. I like the idea of the
That way
petition
anyway.
because it comes from the public. And this was an ordinance that we talked about a lot. We talked about it several months ago, and it was in response to the public requesting a method and a procedure, and the mayor asking us to come up with that. And I'm very happy to have everybody on the council give us suggestions and ideas. Mayor, I thought you had a couple of really good ideas. We talked about what happens at 25 years, who's going to be the designated. You go rip that one down. And it is a problem, but there is a lifespan, and I guess we picked 25 years because that's kind of, the time of knowledge of people. Beyond 25 years, there begins a forgetting, or maybe the people don't live there anymore, or whatever. But it was an arbitrary number. And we are, John and Dave and I are completely welcoming of comments and suggestions, and we're happy to go back and rework it. Roger, I understand why you're saying that, but I feel that really makes the mayor and council, kind of an iron thumb here. And I'd rather have it. The idea was to let this come from the public if you had somebody that you wanted. And it does, as Tom said, it does allow for the mayor and council to make their own designation if they see something that seems to qualify for that. But I think having some kind of procedure that we can do this is a really good idea.
100% on the procedure. I'm just concerned about becoming the council of no, right? Where we're an arbiter in something that may be arbitrary, right? And, we may have very good reason for saying what we say at the time, but like when you name something after somebody, this is something very significant. Like I know we've talked about co-naming. Have we talked about like if we're naming a new street, if we had a new street somewhere in town? Because that certainly shouldn't have a life expectancy of 25 years if you're going to name a street.
No, this is the co-naming of a street. It's a
Right.
different kind of designation, and I think that's the other thing that's a point. If the mayor and council and citizens in the town want to name a street, rename a street to honor someone, that's something distinctly different. This is a co-naming, and it comes from the public. And I do think there are demonstrated qualities. In C, it says honorees should have demonstrated an extraordinary and consistent voluntary commitment and dedication to the community, or have contributed significantly to the borough of Oradell or national life, and have lived or otherwise are identified with this community in a substantial way. It's kind of the way historic houses are nominated. You know, you do a test of, you know, what's the history here? How long was this person here? What have they contributed? You know, what have they contributed nationally? And for what is the reason that we want to honor them? It seems to me that just as it allows us to nominate, those designations allow historic structures to be nominated, it's definable in that sense, and it can be discussed in that sense. And if we become a mayor and council of no, I'll be the first one to say, let's have a discussion about what we're doing here.
So I think to the mayor's point, 25 to me, that jumped out to me as a low bar.
Okay.
To the 9,000 residents, we have, especially for parks, and not that streets are anything minor, but if we have, I don't know, 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 parks, to the question of where the body of no, that's a low bar. To name a park is a massive monumental honor, et cetera. And I would think that we're going to have different opinions as to who qualifies for that. And yeah, it's not something that we're going to take lightly nor look to change in the future, whether it's 10 years or 25 years or 50 years. So that's the first thing that hit me. If it's a 300 or 1,000, now we have a public, almost a public referendum on whether or not, there's a groundswell to have that. The other question is, was this from, I'm assuming other boroughs have something potentially on, was this a template from another borough?
Yeah.
It was that some other borough has something like this with similar wording. And yes, the naming or co-naming, if the title of this ordinance is naming, but in general, it's talking about co-naming. So I don't know if that's just kind of wording, and then also references making a donation. And now you're going down the slope of if someone's
street corner.
Yeah, going to donate 1,000, but if someone's going to willing to donate 25,000, that is a kind of a slippery slope. And again, I don't know the answers to that, but and there is wording to the Borough Council having discretion. So the overall discretion, and yeah, if we all change here and somebody names something after somebody, and another governing body comes in and wasn't that friendly with the other, or didn't have the same opinion, and they look to take it back, it looks like they have the power to do that also. So I don't know the answer to that, but it's just, I just think it's a really, really big thing that we maybe need to work on more.
Yeah, and just to clarify, with the deadline, the reason why we moved the deadline back to November 30th is that, the council that particular year will make that decision rather than having that, go over to an overlap until another particular council in the next year. The second thing about the requirements is that, just to be clear, it's actually 30 signatures in a 3-block radius. So maybe a low bar still, but within that 3-block radius, it's a higher bar.
I guess what really hit me was the park, right? I mean, that's the big thing. So,
Well, is the co-naming more envisioned to be applied on a street? How do you co-name a park?
Yeah, that's what I thought also.
The Maggie Harrer Memorial Softball
I
Diamond?
like the sound of that, but I don't think so,
Kelly
no.
Bench, I mean-
The problem is, and maybe we needed to do a little distinction, because we mostly were discussing co-naming,
Right.
like streets or, or trees or whatever.
that's what park
And we
would
weren't considering that, that the Jim Coth Park would ever be renamed after somebody else.
Thank you.
one of the advantages of bringing an ordinance forward for discussion
Yeah.
to the council is exactly this, because it's not set in stone and we can discuss it. It's, we can tweak it if we need to. And one of the things that I wouldn't say it concerns me, but I note is that the petition has signed by a minimum of 30 people, a majority of whom reside or have businesses within a 3-block radius. That's 16 people. So you need 16 people and another 14 from outside the 3-block radius. I don't know if that's too low a bar. It may be.
But is it, I don't even know if it's so let me say this. Thank you for getting this to this point, right? I don't want you to think like we're sitting up here picking it apart. I think we're having productive discussion to get this advanced, which I know is the goal of the committee. But the significance of the proximity to the street sign corner or whatever versus just the generality of the town, right? Because this is something everybody might have an opinion on in town. We are a pretty engaged community. But is it a petition with residents? Can anybody sign it? Who's validating these things? Do they get turned into the clerk and she, like she does voting petitions, has to go and verify residency on the thing? And I think there's just a lot of things that we need to think through. I'm going to be very happy to share my comments. When does the committee meet? Do you guys have like a regular monthly meeting?
Not a regular meeting, so.
Okay.
It's as needed. We'd be happy to meet again. I mean, we'd really appreciate comments from you and from anyone.
So maybe if over the next 2 weeks, people, if they have comments, can get comments to John, who chairs the committee, and he can have that discussion with Maggie and Dave, then maybe we can get a second iteration of this that encompasses some of those thoughts. And gets this a little bit closer to where we can be able to act on it, and it's representative of our collective input. But look, this is a difficult task, right? You want to do something that honors someone, but I think we got to do something that's also mindful of, this isn't a process that's for sale or a vanity thing. Oh, I'm going to go name the street corner for Dave. He did such a great job fixing the bricks up at this corner. He's very worthy of it, and I get everybody to sign it.
Well, he'd have to be dead, of course.
Wow.
That's a high bar.
Dave, sorry. Still acknowledge him.
Right.
Hell, we just got new sidewalks at Memorial.
So, Mayor, just for some context, as far as the council deciding to name something on their own, and as long as I've been here, there's only 2 things, I believe, that have been named by the council, solely derived from the council. One was done, and it actually was recorded with the post office, was La Monica Way, because I believe that's actually a recognized street, believe it or not, now, even though there's no properties on it, because I had to send some stuff down to the post office. And then the DPW facility was named for an employee that was we lost on the job, and the council decided, it was presented to them to name that facility, and a sign went out in front. There was a dedication. I believe the family attended, but that was just done internally. It was discussed. I think the street had to be done by resolution because I had to send it to the post office. But that just gives you some context to what's happened in the past to internal naming.
It's probably good that we come up with some conclusions, since it's not unlikely there'll be some new streets in town.
Yeah.
The line, and I don't know who gets to name them, but we should think about it.
Yeah.
Well, the first 2 are Mayor Koth and Maggie Harrer, and after that, it's open, right?
Am I going somewhere I'm not aware of yet? You got me in your sights, Maggie.
Don't mean to be facetious. Well, I am too, Jim. I'm with you, I guess.
All right. If nobody has anything further to offer at this time, I would just ask if by 2 weeks from now we can get John comments that he can share with the committee, and they can take another look at this. Hopefully we can advance this forward and be able to move something with it. So thank you guys for getting it to this point.
Thank you, Mayor.
We have any old business to come before the council? New business. Councilman Gullo.
Sure. So on behalf of the Public Safety Committee, we would like to host a public safety town hall on Thursday, September 24th at 7 o'clock here in council chambers. A lot of it is to have an open dialogue with the community about pedestrian and traffic safety. We know it's obviously a very important issue, and it's one that continues to grow, shift, and a lot of people have various solutions and opinions, and so we thought it would be a good idea to gather everyone, special session. It will be advertised via the clerk. What we'd like to do is, in order to formulate the agenda, we'd like to reach out to residents. So there'd be a survey online, social media, there was an email box to Executive Assistant Sam Shin in the Borough Administrator's office starting September 1, and we'll keep it open for about 2 weeks or so. Our intent is to gather as much information as possible about topics, ideas, questions. The borough engineer is going to be in attendance, a representative from Safe Streets, the police chief. We're trying to get someone from Bergen County to really make it really educational, an opportunity to really, as a public forum for our residents to come and ask questions, offer their opinions. I think there's been a lot of great work, and there's a lot of good effort on behalf of the community, and this is probably a good way to do it. While we didn't have huge attendance at the tax assessors meeting earlier this year, we're kind of modeling it after what Mr. Anzavino did on a Saturday here in council chambers. So it's really an opportunity for the community to come, special session, and we're going to try to get the right experts here in the room so that people can ask questions and get information.
At 7:30?
7 o'clock.
7 o'clock.
Do you guys need AV for that meeting?
Yes, we did get confirmation that OPTV is going to record it. And we'll have it broadcast on YouTube TV as well.
Yeah, and I think you may need a larger room, but.
That's why I was
I mean, we could.
Yeah, and.
If you want to broadcast it, you could go upstairs. I think they can broadcast from upstairs.
Yes.
If you publicize it, you're going to have, I assume upstairs is more capacity, right?
Yeah.
It is.
So, yeah. Or at the
So
schools.
barring that,
OPS, yeah.
capacity-wise, anyone have any thoughts or comments from the
I
council?
think it's a great idea.
100%.
Okay. So, just next steps, I'll work with Sam to get the survey out. We'll obviously send it out to some of our distribution lists as well as get it out on social media. And then we will have that web or the email address available for people to send in comments as well as questions. So you could also call Borough Hall as well and speak to someone if you can't get through to those, I guess, digital mediums.
Okay.
Location TBD.
Okay, great.
Thanks, Ted.
Thank you.
Yep.
Anyone have anything else for new business?
I have a question about when one can't attend a meeting, can we Zoom in? On the planning board, we were able to do that years ago. And if you're kind of in Zoom attendance, does that count, or how does one?
I'll let Laura elaborate on that because I think she arranged most of it during COVID.
Yes,
But I would, and I know we discontinued it
we did.
at a point in time, right? So that was a subscription fee that we were paying. And then if you're going to do that, it's more complicated than the way we do things right now. But I'll let Laura talk about her experience.
Yeah, just
with it.
historically, once COVID hit and we knew we had to go remote, we had to, and it was quite difficult because Zoom didn't integrate well with purchase orders in government and whatnot. But we did Zoom meetings for quite a while. Then I believe we went back in person, and then when the next winter hit, we decided to go back to Zoom during peak flu
COVID,
season, whatnot.
Yeah.
And then we came back full in person. I think we had already paid that year for the Zoom subscription, so we had it as a backup if we needed it. But we have it's not been active for many years now. It just added a different layer of, and I think a local finance notice came out about it in the meantime of how it's governed and when it could be used and whatnot. So I'd have to research that if you wanted to ever implement that again. I do know it was limited to, because I had to run it while running the meetings. So the council would get a separate invitation to be a panelist so that you can fully participate. And then the public would just be able to listen. There wasn't a portion of like public comment where people could zoom in their public comment, because obviously there's no delay button if something was said inappropriately or whatnot. Like anyway, so it really would be a policy decision amongst the council whether you wanted to reintegrate that. But as far as missing a meeting, there's vacancy law that governs. I think a council person can miss, I believe, 3 in a row without a vacancy occurring or a certain amount of months, however times we meet. But if you miss a meeting and like watch the meeting, you wouldn't be counted as I watched the meeting, so I'm still present. You still would be counted as absent at that meeting as of right now. So I don't know if you want to put that on a meeting in the future as far as re-examining Zoom, and I can pull the local finance notice. In the meantime, I don't know many municipalities that still do it. I know a couple do it that have a full IT department. With the same features, not like a call-in feature. It's just a participation feature. I don't know if they allow their governing body members to participate that way, but some do it for the public to be able to see it.
I also was wondering about the public safety meeting, if we wanted to Zoom that, or if people could somehow call in for questions or something. I was trying to figure out the most approachable way that we could get it out to as many people as possible. It's kind of a second question, but so that's why I asked.
You mentioned having a questionnaire previous, right? Yeah, that people will be able to send in questions for that meeting, right?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
I mean, it raises a technical complication for the broadcast, not insubstantial challenge to, get the audio right, and it's doable, but it's another level.
Difficult.
Yeah, and look, I think if we have a successful meeting and we feel we need to do another one because there are people that we weren't able to accommodate or didn't attract, then you schedule another one. I think town halls are great to talk about topics of public concern, and we want to hear from everybody. So nothing says it's a one and done. We can always, adapt on the fly. I personally feel it's better if we're present. If you can't be here for a meeting, enjoy your night off. Right? I mean, we put in a lot of time up here. I don't think anybody expects us to be here for every single meeting. But to Dave's point, I think the Zoom thing it is doable, but it does add a level of complexity. We can't even get the monitor in the next room to work properly half the time. I would hate to have people say, hey, I can't participate because I'm raising my hand or I'm trying to whatever and you're not answering me. It just makes people frustrated.
Yeah. Okay,
So,
thank you. Well, I'd just like the public to note, we really want to get information out to you, and it means a lot to us when you come in person and talk to us. And especially this public safety meeting is really important. It's been a hot topic in Oradell for years. So we would appreciate any and all of you who could attend that. And Ted, thank you for making that happen.
Thank the committee.
Okay.
Jim, I have one thing.
Yes, Dave.
The Municipal Drug Alliance, the last council decided not to renew the, I guess you call it a subscription to the program for the coming year. Was there a discussion about that at all? I don't recall hearing anything, but we didn't pay into it for the coming year. Is it just one of those things that fell through the cracks or something?
That's a great question. I don't recall us having any discussion of the sort we were not going to participate.
There's never been a payment that I've known of that the boroughs it's been run through the police department, so.
Normally, we get the grant.
Right, it's a grant that's filled out. You guys pass resolutions in order to apply for the grants.
Right.
Those are generated usually by an officer bringing the resolution to me to put it on, but I was never given anything for this coming year. So I don't know if that was an internal decision on that end, to, maybe they don't have someone, staffing it. I don't know. But
Okay. Well, maybe we can look into that and dig deeper and find out what's going on. Yeah, I think that the Municipal Drug Alliance funds a lot of good stuff, so we ought to make sure that that's set. If there's nothing further for new business, Laura, can you read the correspondence into the record,
yes, one item,
please?
an email received from Eileen Jones concerning a no right turn onto First Street.
Okay. Next on the agenda is adoption of minutes. I guess we can handle them separately. We have 4 meetings on here, May 26th, June 9th, June 23rd, and July 14th.
There was only one absence. Mr. Kern was absent from the June 23rd meeting. Everybody else was present for all meetings.
Okay. Anybody care to make a motion to approve the minutes of the meeting of May 26, 2026?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Kelly?
Yes.
Mr. Tastian?
Yes.
Mr. Kern?
Yes, except I'll abstain from June 23rd.
We're only doing May 26 right now.
I thought we were doing it.
No, I didn't do all 4. Just May 26.
Okay, so Mr. Kern, you're a yes for that?
Yes.
Okay, Mr. Gallo?
Yes.
Ms. Sarah?
Yes.
Mr. Banfield?
Yes.
Okay, would anybody care to make a motion to approve the minutes for the meeting of June 9th, 2026?
Yes, can I amend that motion to approve the June 9th, June 23rd, and July 14th, unless anybody has any comments?
Second.
Are you want to run the meeting?
No, I'm just trying to simple things a little bit,
Okay.
because I think we have a lot of people to speak today.
Do we? I thought we just had an audience tonight. We have a second. Can we have a roll call, please?
Sure. Mr. Kelly?
Yes.
Mr. Tastian?
Yes.
Mr. Kern?
All right, yes, except I'll abstain from June 23rd.
Noted. Mr. Gallo?
Yes.
Ms. Sarah?
Yes.
Mr. Banfield?
Yes.
Okay, public comment. So we're going to have public comment now. I'll entertain a motion to open the floor for public comment on non-agenda items only.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Great. Please come up to the podium, identify
Yeah, this
yourself
is
and
Nick
remain
Bessing.
courteous and not exceed 5 minutes.
I just want to make a comment as far as our capability here to interface with Zoom. When I had the monitors put in, we have an interface built in that the switch feed goes out on the computer and all your audio goes back to the system without any feedback. Besides which, Zoom can handle phone calls coming in and actually gets put into the Zoom rotation. So you can pick and choose for people who want to call in, can. And the system can do this. So I just wanted to clarify that in case you do want to use it. And both here and upstairs have the same capability. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. Nobody's here to say anything? Eileen.
Eileen Jones, Oradell resident. Non-agenda items, that would be the First Street? Okay,
Well,
thank
not
you.
on the consent agenda. So as long as it's not one of the items on the consent agenda, you're free to talk about it.
Okay. Good evening, Mayor and Council. I come before you this evening to again discuss the preferential treatment being given to First Street and hence trickling over to Second and Third Street by a traffic sign, no right turn onto First Street 6 days a week, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. with no restriction on Sunday. It's located at the northeast end of Grant Ave. Grant Ave and the eastern portion of Oradell Ave are municipal streets, just like these 3 streets that I just named above. First Street also has a double yellow line and is comparable in width, size, and has speed bumps along with Second Street. I'm requesting that that sign be removed, and it's totally removed with no disallowances of traffic making a right-hand turn there. On March 1st, 1999, I was not a resident here at that time. In an administrative agenda work session, it said that residents of First Street were invited at 7 p.m. to the mayor and council meeting tomorrow. We will be discussing the Boswell-McClave engineering traffic study and recommendations. Mr. Winters is not prepared to make a final decision, and he has asked if the residents were given a copy of the traffic study and was told a copy was given to Mr. Bob Schwartz, a First Street resident. We will have comments from the residents and discuss the traffic study. And then on March 15th, there's a note here in the administrative agenda work session that First Street, a letter from Mr. Schwartz requesting a decision on traffic congestion on First Street. There will be a meeting with the First Street residents on April 20th, and a decision will have to be reached. Suggestions to correct this problem from Hallworth to Oradell, no right-hand turns at all times, or a speed bump. Reassess this in 6 months. Now, a letter was sent on... Why can't I find the date of it? Oh, there it is. February 22nd, 1999, to a gentleman that resided on First Street. And it was, you were invited to attend the mayor and council meeting on Tuesday, March 2nd, 1999 at 7 p.m. There will be a discussion regarding the traffic study of First Street. The meeting will be held at the Oradell Town Hall in the mayor and council chambers, first floor, room 103. If you would like to be part of this discussion, please mark the date and time on the calendar. And it's listed on the bottom to CC that the letter was being CC'd to the residents of First Street. My question is, I'm wondering why there's no letter that was sent to the residents of Oradell Ave or Grant Ave. This would be a huge problem for them with all that traffic then being forced to come down to on Grant Ave. No choice as to whether to make that first right-hand turn or not, but forced to come to an intersection that's already had a lot of traffic on it, even in 1999. I'm going on. Oh. I might be repeating a little, I'm sorry. What I am questioning is, why did First Street residents receive a personal letter to them to review the traffic study of First Street and Grant and Oradell? It was done by Boswell Engineering. I haven't been able to receive a copy of that engineering report. It should be somewhere in the files. It was 1999. This study would severely impact Grant Ave and Oradell Ave's safety and quality of life in a very negative manner. Where's the corresponding study that would reflect how it would impact the Grant Ave and Oradell Ave? The change in traffic flow would certainly affect Grant Ave and Oradell Ave. The ordinance that was approved in 1999 forced traffic to come to that area, and I think that this wasn't done properly. I think Grant Ave should have been included. Yes, they could have seen the notice on the mayor and council meeting that was coming up. Why they did not, I don't know. Like I said, I wasn't here. I have more, but I heard the beep. So is that the end of my talk? Okay. Thank you for listening.
Thank you.
I'll be back. Oh.
Hi, Paul Morris, my wife, Marcia, 449 2nd Street. Our house is on the corner of 1st and 2nd, so our driveway and garage are on 1st Street. We've been there since 1981. Research that I did showed that the sign was put in place in 1990. I don't have the rationale for why the sign was placed. It's presumably for safety. First Street, all you probably know, is a somewhat narrow, curved street. Oradell Avenue and Grant are wider and straight streets. Traffic coming from Haworth in that environment and heading west now has to go south on Grant and take a right turn onto Oradell Avenue. There's no oncoming traffic, so that's a very safe maneuver to make that turn. However, if you were to take the sign away, large numbers of cars would be coming down First and maybe even Second and Third Streets and having to turn right onto Oradell Avenue, avoiding oncoming traffic coming in a westerly direction on Oradell Avenue. That's more dangerous than the situation that exists now. So I would say maintain the sign. It keeps the area safe. There are many children who live there. There are pets. It's a curved street. It does not warrant that kind of traffic, and it would be, I think, unwise to remove that sign.
Sure, just come up to the podium, Mr. Conway.
Good evening, Mayor, members of the council. My name is Donald Conway. I live at 425 2nd Street. I'm more than familiar with this entire situation because for approximately 60 years, I walk conditions allowing from my house on 2nd Street to the reservoir, and I see the traffic flow. Over those years, it's gone from a minor problem to what it is today. We all recognize that the situation is a problem. However, that area, almost every day, there's a dog walking company here in town. People are walking their dogs. So people like myself, I have to walk in the street. I also know that I'm not the only person who walks in the street. I see them every morning, lots of people. I see kids from high school, Bergen Catholic or Riverdale. They jog in the street. You can't walk on the sidewalk where the dogs are walking. And it just so happens that area, just the other day, there's a lady here who saw me. The last couple of years, they had to cut the trees there because the branches are out into the road. Every time I get to the corner, I have to stop and wait and see because, believe me, although that sign says no right turn, every day from 8 o'clock when I start to, plenty of cars are making right turns. And I'm concerned for my safety, everybody else's safety. And as I say, God forbid someday somebody, if you allow this to happen, a car or a truck is going to run over a bicyclist, a cyclist or a pedestrian because they don't slow down. They make that turn, and it's a dangerous situation if you allow it. I realize, maybe it's an inconvenience for some people that have to go all the way to Oradell Avenue, but who are we inconveniencing? People from Northvale, Norwood, or wherever they come from. So maybe they get up 5 minutes early in case there's a little backup. But the rest of us are entitled to safety, not the people who live in those various other communities. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and City Council. My name is Christine Orlando, and I live on Grant Avenue around the corner from Oradell Avenue for the last 48 years. I would like to focus tonight on the traffic sign located where First Street and Grant Avenue meet. It prohibits traffic from entering First Street for about 12 hours a day, 6 days a week, making a right turn from Haworth, forcing traffic to be diverted. And as a result, all the traffic coming from Haworth and its neighboring towns are funneled into Grant and Oradell Avenues intersection, which is already getting traffic from the New Milford area. And why? Because one area of town said, traffic, not down our street. All, and I emphasize all, areas of our town should share the burden of traffic flow. It has been an extra burden for those of us taxpayers, residents who live south and east of this sign. We have had our quality of life diminished and the safety of our children and grandchildren compromised. Don't we count too? No area of town should be treated with favoritism and special privilege. This should not be a case where some Oradell residents are considered more equal than others. It is wrong, and the situation has to be rectified. So to summarize, I ask you, Mr. Mayor, and council members to consider removing this elite restrictive traffic sign on First Street and Grant Avenue so that all the residents in this area share the burden of traffic movement and not just a few of us who have had to endure this burden alone for far too long. I ask that we be treated equally and fairly, and that our quality of life, as well as the safety and welfare of our children and grandchildren who live south and east of this sign, be taken into account. We count too. Why else should this elitist restrictive sign be removed? Well, because in my opinion, it's the right thing to do. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Barbara Parks. I live at 446 First Street. I've been living there since June of 1994. I've attended many of these meetings over the past 30 years, not in a long time, but in the 90s there were plenty of meetings about how to alleviate the traffic, not only the traffic, the safety. People, Mr. Schwartz that was referred to earlier used to say all the time that people that would cut down First Street, their mindset was to beat the guy that went the proper way, the way that traffic was meant to go, down Grant to Oradell Avenue. First Street has two big curves in it. When I pull out of my driveway, I can't see past my neighbor's house. And if he's parked at the edge of his driveway, no offense, Dave, I can't see anybody unless they're within 10 feet of my driveway. I walk my dogs every morning. I see Mr. Conway. There is one man, he's going so fast every morning, he's on the wrong side of the road, every day. There's track teams that go down that street. People walk down there to go to the reservoir. People are walking their dogs. Nobody's safety is more important than anybody else's, but it's not the same road. It's a curvy road. Grant is a straight street. We only recently just got two stop signs at the intersections of First and 2nd and First and 3rd, where before they were yield signs. So I appreciate the fact that that was done, but to say that we get preferential treatment is not correct at all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Marcia Morris. I live at 449 2nd Street, which, as my husband told you, is on the corner of 1st and 2nd. My feeling on this is that it's not just a matter of the curvy 1st Street. People go down there and they speed down 2nd Street, and I know they also speed down 3rd Street. Those are narrower streets than the other streets are. people, you're compromising, if you take the sign away, I really feel like you're compromising the safety of the children who play in those two streets, people who walk their dogs, people who run. There are so many people walking around that neighborhood. Grant Street and Oradell Avenue are not streets that you would ever consider having your children play in the street on. But First, Second Street and Third Street are streets like that. They're more of a neighborhood kind of a street. And I also think you're compromising the safety of the cars that are sitting there on the streets. They're not as wide as streets, and if people are going down the street really fast, they're going to knock into your doors. There just isn't enough room. And I lived there before the sign went up initially, and I can tell you that there really was a vast improvement in the safety. And I remember that the reason they did it in the first place was a safety issue. So I'm begging you to not take the sign away. Thank you.
Hello, Mayor and Council. Terry Verhaeg, 507 First Street. I also lived there before the sign was up. We moved there in 92. So the sign was not up in 90. I'm not sure where that came from. It was, I feel like it wasn't 99, but it wasn't 90. Anyway, to your point about the traffic, right now the traffic is insane going one way. It's not like we don't have traffic. We get half of it, right? It's insane all day long. But it wasn't about traffic. It was about safety. Again, because it's a curvy street, everyone would make that right, either fly down First Street or fly down Third Street. Third Street straight, I've seen people, they have to be going 70 miles per hour. It's insane. So picture you have people flying in both directions. It was just a disaster waiting to happen. I would be pulling in, making a left into my driveway. People would be passing me on the left. Not kidding. Like, it was insane. So again, it was put in because of safety, and it still is about safety. Grant and Oradell Avenue are main drags. Sorry, they just are. And so at that point where people would not have their kids play outside in their front yard, but not in the street. They're main thoroughfares. They go through several towns. Buses go on them. They're main drags. And if you shift it, this isn't going to solve the problem. There's too much traffic in town everywhere, not just at our corner there. There's too many cars. This is what would maybe help is more police pulling people over. Then they'll slow down. If the word gets out that if you speed in Oradell, you'll get a ticket, that will help, because that's how it is in Haworth. You get pulled over once in Haworth, you learn your lesson. You don't speed there anymore. So that's going to have more impact. Shifting this is just going to put more traffic onto our streets, which are not meant to be main drags and are just by the nature of the curves going to be far, far more dangerous. So please, again, it's not that you're any less special, but it's just those are main drags, and that's how the traffic was supposed to go. And our more neighborhood type streets should not be sacrificed just to make you happy. Okay, so thank you.
Kathy Morris, Country Club Drive. No one's talked about Country Club Drive. I live off of Oradell Ave and Country Club Drive, off of Grant. Try in the morning to make a left-hand turn to get onto Oradell Ave. Not going to happen for at least 10 minutes because nobody coming from Haworth is going to stop and let you in. Nobody from New Milford who's coming straight can let you in. So what do? Nothing. You can't go on the other side of Country Club because that borders on First, so you can't even make that left-hand turn, then a quick right, because then you get behind all the traffic from Haworth. I understand. It's a safety issue, but I almost got hit, as the last time I was here, in the crosswalk on Oradell Ave. It's a safety issue all around. Everybody has this safety issue. I walk my dog 6 miles a day in Oradell. And I got to tell you, I go down First. I see what happens on First. I see what happens on Hasbrook. Everybody is trying to beat everybody. And I appreciated that law enforcement was out last week. And at least 6 or 7 people pulled over from New Milford because they didn't stop at the crosswalk with the lights blinking because they could. They race you to the crosswalk, like, you know, and I'm walking the dog. They don't care. Either way, a safety issue on Grant, the traffic is out of control. When there's a train, it's all backed up to the other side of Country Club by First, because nobody can make a right-hand turn. I don't know what the actual solution is, but restricting a right-hand turn, because a lot of the people who are coming down from Haworth, sometimes they put their signal on, sometimes they don't. So you don't know, coming off of Oradell Ave, whether you can make that left or not safely, because they may be making the right, they may not be. And I just saw this past week another fender bender right on that corner. A lot of fender benders, a lot of almost accidents. Maybe easing some of the right-hand turns off of Grant. I walk up First. I know what the situation is. But there's got to be some kind of resolution to this where maybe everybody shares everything. We share the traffic. We have to. It's not our traffic. We're not causing it. You know, and that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, John Sulit. I live on 421st Street. I just want to address that First Street does indeed take a big chunk of the overflow of traffic. It's not like we're completely closed off to taking some of that commuter traffic off Oradell Ave. People off Oradell Ave are able to turn left on the First Street. I think every resident in town, and I know we all have friends in like Closter and Haworth and other towns, when you tell them, oh, I live on First Street in Oradell, what they all say, oh, the cut-through street. Everyone knows First Street has historically been known as the cut-through street to get from here to White Beaches, to Haworth, and to that area. So we do take a big brunt of the traffic off Oradell Ave. Like everyone's saying it. Everyone says that they see what's going on First Street. So it's not like we're not taking any of the brunt or the share of the traffic. Again, we're known as a cut-through street. Oradell Ave is a county thoroughfare. County thoroughfares are designed and made to handle high volume traffic, commuter traffic. And again, we're just a small residential street that spans 3 blocks, meant for local traffic, narrow, winding, and we still take a very good share of the traffic away from the high volume peak hours. So I just wanted to, I respect that that you're trying to advocate for your problems and your issues, but I, like everyone else is saying, I think town-wide solutions like better visibility of law enforcement and enforcement of traffic infractions would be a better a better solution to this, as opposed to say, you know, that we're complaining about these speeders who inherently are speeding. If they're trying to cut through the street, they inherently want to get there before those other guys, hence them driving crazy through our street. These guys who aren't signaling, not allowing residents from Country Club to turn, diverting them to our street's not going to solve the problem. I think it comes down to traffic enforcement. And again, I just wanted to reiterate that First Street does take a big brunt of the traffic. Thank you.
Thank you.
James Hayden, Country Club Drive. Mayor and Council, I'd like to inquire what has been the history over the last 2 years of accidents and near accidents at the corner of Grant Ave and Oradell Ave as compared to other corners through the town? It's my only question. Thank you.
Steve Schimmel. I live at 521st Street, which is right on the corner of First and Grant, and I feel compelled to just answer just based on that last question. I've been in town for about 8 years now, but in my first 5 years, there were 5 car accidents that ended up on my lawn. The town has made some changes, mainly painting the shoulder on Grant to slow people down and make them realize that they're approaching a curve. But so there's obviously a safety issue. But one thing I want to point out is that taking down that no right turn is not going to make the issue better. Every day I see people make that right turn illegally anyway. And one thing that I see is that because of that no right turn sign, they slow down to see if there are cops there. And at least if nothing else, they're slowing down. And because when I'm backing out of my driveway, they can't see me, I can't see them. And if they make that quick right, there's been like 5 or 6 times that I've almost backed right into people making that turn, again, because it's a blind spot. So I hope you don't take the sign down.
Thank you.
Linda Bessink, Country Club Drive. A couple years before I retired, I started working from home. And the biggest reason why I was happy about that was I didn't have to drive out of Country Club in the morning, try and get out of Country Club and get onto Oradell Avenue. It's impossible sometimes. But I think this is a bigger problem than just one street. I don't know any other streets in town. I certainly could be wrong, but I don't know any other streets in town that have speed humps except for First Street. And to me, if that's not preferential, I don't know what is. But I think it's a bigger problem than just one street. The problem's not dogs. It's a big traffic issue. Trying to get out of Oradell Avenue in the morning around 8 o'clock, say, it's backed up into Haworth, it's backed up to New Milford on the other side. It's a big problem, and I think Eileen started something really nice to talk about. I think you should do some kind of a traffic study, maybe. I don't know. It's whether the police have maybe it's a policing thing. Maybe we need some more enforcement. I don't know, but it's a bigger problem than what people think.
Tom Weimer, 450 Oradell. I'm not good at this, so I'm going to just jump right into it. Being a person who lives on Oradell Avenue for almost 30 years, I'm sensitive to my friends who live on Grant and Country Club. I'm sensitive to my neighbors who live on Oradell Avenue. We all face a very similar problem, and that's getting out of our homes. We have problems in the morning on First Street. I have a problem on Oradell Avenue all the time. I have noise things that people have never talked about. I have people, I don't know why other people in other towns, pardon the pun, are the horniest people in the world since the pandemic, but they're blasting their horns now at 5:30 in the morning to come through Elm Street because there's too much traffic coming that way. So we contend with all of the different variances, all the different variety of problems in front of our homes all day long. And there are a handful of homes that are on 3rd Street, 2nd Street, and 1st Street and Oradell Avenue that we have to contend with those problems. But since the signs have been put up, we were there before they were, we were able to get out of our properties on Oradell Avenue in the morning because we weren't able to. We had the same problems our friends on Grant have now. So it is a big problem. It's a huge problem. And I thoroughly respect their concerns. It was done, in our opinion, for safety. There were cars, again, someone mentioned someone came around them when they were cutting into the driveway. I think it was Terry. It's happened to me multiple times. I've nearly crashed my own car because someone cut me off and almost went up my driveway at about 60 miles an hour. I live 150 feet to the end of the corner. So we have people doing crazy things all the time. Our police are good, but they're not there all the time. I'd like to point out, this is a value. We've made these decisions already, and we've been living with this for almost 30 years now. Making the change to go backward is going to make some people's lives a little better, but make a whole lot of people's lives a lot worse. And I think that's an important difference right now. I don't want to make their lives worse. I would like their lives to get better, but I don't want my life to get the quality of my life to get that much worse. And I live only on First Street at the corner. The folks on the other who really deal with this illegal turning, a lot of illegal speeding, speed humps which have turned into little challenges for four-wheel drive Jeeps and trucks to see how much air they can get going over, and hearing that in the middle of the night, putting up with people who live in Holworth wanting to beep every time they go over a speed bump because they don't like the speed bumps. We have the same problems, maybe seemingly to a small scale, but it really was about not convenience, but it was really about safety. I don't want your safety to be jeopardized. I don't want my safety to be jeopardized. I don't want your convenience to be jeopardized. I don't want mine to be either. But right now, where we are, if you take that away, it will. The bigger answer right now is, what are we going to do about the train? The train is a major problem right now for the backup traffic into Oradell Avenue. And by the way, when it backs up all the way into Grant, those people cut down First Street. They just do it automatically. They just take the liberty to do it. So if we can fix the train situation in the morning, it'll alleviate the problem in the morning, some of the problem in the morning. We have to get better at making people be able to make left-hand turns onto Elm Street. That's a problem. Those lights don't work. They blow through those blinking lights for the kids. Kids are, I think they drive by and get points for how many people they can scare in the morning, how close they can come to you, and how fast they can come to you. It's crazy sometimes, just like mayhem. Can't tell you how many times I've almost been hit. It's ridiculous. If I called every time that I had an issue, our police department wouldn't be doing anything else. And that's not fair to our police. Our police have been great. I have no problem with our police. But really, take care of the traffic where the routes are. Kinderkamak Avenue and Oradell Avenue is the biggest center problem for our traffic flow in the morning. You got to make the lights longer. You got to make the traffic move better through Kinderkamak, get the traffic away from Grant and on Oradell Avenue. It backs up. If that traffic backed up on Kinderkamak in either direction, the way it backs up into Holworth, people everywhere would be crazy and nuts about it. It's really a problem. If we start to fix those problems, it'll improve the quality of life of the people who live on Grant. Not greatly, not perfectly, but it will help. They do need big time help crossing the streets over there. Super dangerous. The intersection at Oradell Avenue and Grant is horrific. Wouldn't I cross my dog there? I fear for my life. Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I come back? I just have one thing about the train.
You want crack at the apple?
Okay. Well, it's about the train.
I think we can acknowledge the train's an issue. We share in that sentiment.
But I was going to say, if the train would just move further down so that it wouldn't stop it, and that's what they do in River Edge. They can either put more asphalt so that they extend the platform, or in River Edge, you just can't get off or on the first car. So
The problem's also when the train's going north, because it is bi-directional service, it
Mhm.
still blocks the road because there's no platform on the north side of the street.
Right, but at least it would help in one
So
direction.
we understand the train, we agree.
Hi. Can you hear me? Thanks for having me. My name is Kelly Avalar. I live on First Street in a house with 2 young kids and 2 dogs. We moved from Harlem to Oradell in 2021 with hopes to raise our children in a safe neighborhood. And I wanted to start by saying that I completely understand the frustration with the congestion at Oradell Avenue and Grant Street, and I agree that it's a problem that deserves a solution. My concern is that opening First Street as a through road may solve traffic flow problems at one intersection while creating a much more serious safety problem on a narrow residential street. First Street is a curving residential street with limited visibility. Residential driveways, pedestrians, children, and people walking dogs. I firsthand have experienced walking across First Street onto Third Street at a toddler's walking pace and having been met with a fast car coming around the bend and thankfully stopping in their tracks. It happens all the time. If it's opened specifically to relieve congestion, I think we must anticipate that drivers will use it as a shortcut, which they already do, and that the volume of speed traffic could change significantly. Traffic safety guidance recognizes that congestion on major roads can cause drivers to divert through residential neighborhoods, and it can increase speeding and pedestrian conflicts. There are communities where residential cut-through traffics have resulted in pedestrian collisions and where significant measures ultimately had to be taken to slow and discourage that traffic. I am not opposed to finding a solution to the congestion at Grant Street. I'm asking that we not simply move the problem from one location to another without first evaluating the safety consequences for the residents of First Street. A frustrating intersection and a traffic delay are inconveniences, and a serious accident involving a child, a pedestrian, or a cyclist on a residential street is an entirely different consequence. I would respectfully ask that this be evaluated as a traffic engineering and public safety issue rather than a question of whether opening First Street would improve traffic flow or help with favoritism. I think the residents dealing with congestion deserve a solution, but the residents living on First Street deserve a safe solution.
Thank you. I didn't open it up. She spoke at the microphone. I said no. Well, you get one shot. Those are the rules. Sorry, Eileen. Anybody else from the public would like to address the council on a non-agenda item?
Yeah. Good evening, Council. Paul Simmons, 50 Beverly Road. I see that we have a lot of problems with traffic and the speeding and the train station, and those are the things that you have to work on. And that's my only comment on that, because I didn't come here to talk about that particular thing. Now, inaction and delay, I want to talk about that. The planning board failed to meet again 3 times in 4 months. They had failed to bring forth the ordinance on windows for storefronts to the council. On another topic, the sidewalk correction and repair on Prospect is being addressed. Hurrah! That's good. On safety concerns, the project to replace light posts to provide for increased lighting is also being addressed. From River Edge and Oradell border on Kinderkamak to Ridgewood and Kinderkamak. Hurrah! That's great for safety. The speed indicator on the east side of Kinderkamak, north of New Milford Avenue, has not been repaired or replaced. It was knocked down. Maybe we need more speed indicators or big signs that say 25 miles per hour, and then we have to back it up with our police force and ticket. The playgrounds of Prospect Avenue and Ridgewood Avenue, DPAC, are both in need of repair and maintenance. I don't know, it's from the storm or what. Both have a tripping hazard or ground coverings exposed and the need of wood chip coverings. The Prospect Playground has a yellow tape surrounding a lower portion of the slide, not in use. And as I passed by today, they have those traffic horses there so that the kids can't use that. The sidewalk brick wall in front of our library is once again in need of repair, and there's a hazard to tripping to people entering the library. So these are all safety issues that are happening, and they're all maintenance issues. And in light of the DPW having less people working there, we can't take care of all these things unless we get some more people to work and get these things fixed. Note, on the water filters for PFAS and microplastics, and I spoke about this at the last meeting, a $2.5 billion was distributed as a result of DuPont and who was the other one? I forgot the other one. DuPont and another company that had to pay it. I think that money should be forwarded, some of it to our Veolia to put in these filters now that we know how to clear microplastics out so we don't get it in our bodies. And I think that's the real number one health situation problem here and all over the country about microplastics and chemicals. Okay. No, I just want to note another couple things here. 66 Kidderkamack Road lot and Side Street in Argyle is in need of weed repair and maintenance of weeds, 3 feet high. And while I attended a concert of the Chiclets, it was a real nice concert we had. We had some nice concerts this year, summer concerts. A drone passed over our heads. And that's the third one I've seen. And they're coming from the east and they're going west. And who allowed them to do that? Do they have permission to fly drones over us, going from east to west? I think somebody should look into that. And that's it. And the third drone I've seen. That was the third drone that I saw this year. And I thank you for listening. And I hope we can all get together and solve this problem that you guys have.
Thank you, Paul.
Hi, I'm Bill Kurtz. I'm at 421 First Street. I was here about a year and a half ago. We had a whole meeting about that corner, and I spent 2 hours here with my neighbors trying to figure out ways to make that specific corner better, and nothing happened. I mean, literally, they put up some cones on the curve, but nothing happened at the corner. And we spent 2 hours, and there was a company that did a study, and a lot went into it. So I'm wondering, like, I hear that there's going to be a meeting on the 24th about public safety, but if we're having meetings but nothing's coming of it, what are we doing here? Because I'm seeing neighbors going at each other when we had a meeting 2 years ago about this specific corner and nothing was done. So I just encourage the council to use maybe that data from that meeting to move forward with creating a solution at that specific corner. Thanks.
Good evening, Ori Katzin, Laurel Drive. I hear all the people. Thank you all for coming. It's good to see so many people. Paul, at least we're not alone here. I also live on a street on Laurel Drive, which some drivers are using as a cut-through street from Spring Valley Road into Martin and also into Ridgewood Avenue, East Ridgewood Avenue. But those are usually Oradell residents that are just trying to cut through a little closer to their home. One guy that was talking about the cut through here touched a point that none of you have touched. Most of the drivers that are going through our town in the morning are not Oradell residents. And therefore, they allow themselves to speed. They allow themselves to do illegal turns, to do all that. This is a problem. I mean, there is a solution for that. You put a toll booth and you say free for Oradell residents. You're going to solve the problem. First of all, the traffic is going to cut into half. Look at New York City with its congestion pricing. It's a pleasure to drive now in a city. Pleasure. Yes. The other solution, and it's been implemented. I drive a lot. I work in New York City area. I drive a lot in Queens. If any of you has been in the past 5 years in Queens, every street block has these new AI cameras that are not only red light cameras, they're also speeding cameras. And then the way they program them is you get the ticket at 29 miles per hour. 25, okay, 26, 27, 28. At 29, you get a ticket. And those, I think, are $125 tickets. So the same cameras. Maybe we can install the same type of cameras as they have all over Queens. It's just like every block. It's not just like a few blocks without. Every block which has a red light or no red light has a speeding camera on it. So that will be something to consider. This way you're going to free the patrolmen of Oradell to do their job and not to stand there and catch drivers. So that as far as that. And hopefully with the implementing of more and more autonomous driving cars, those cars with AI and the GPS are going to basically direct drivers to the safest place and to the best route to get to their destination and not through Oradell. So, but that is sometimes away. I want to touch on two things. The first one of them is I believe this borough approved a electric street cleaners. But for the past 3 months, I have not seen any street cleaners in my street, in Laurel Drive. I haven't seen one. So I don't know what happened to that, if it needs a repair or something. But the Oradell 5K is coming, and Laurel Drive is one of the routes of the 5K. And it has, maybe Dan is listening right now and is going to do that. The street needs cleaning, and it's not just Laurel Drive. There's a photo contest going on in Oradell, and I want people to take photos, but we don't want to take photos of streets that on the side have leaves and debris from the last storm, still from the last storm. And the final things is council. I just want to congratulate the ordinance committee for finally coming up and talking about the ordinance, the upcoming ordinance of the honorary street names. Okay. And I listened to all the comments that you guys had, and let's just remind us that this is not, we're not changing the street. It's an honorary street name, which is attached to the actual street. And I like the comments, I believe, Roger, you said something about, feeling the temperature of the people as far as naming. You need to feel the temperature of the people on the street. It will be nice to do on the for the people who are living on the street, in that street, what they think about it, and yes, neighboring. And as far as the time limits, we're going to talk about next time, because I don't want to take too much time. Not because that beep, no one is scared of it, but the mayor 2 weeks ago threatened with a gavel, and that is something to consider.
It's a good point, Mr. Katzen. Thank you. Anyone else for public comment on non-consent agenda items? Seeing none, I'd ask for a motion to close to the public for non-agenda.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, any opposed? Motion carries. Next, I'll entertain a motion to open to the public for consent agenda items only.
I make that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. Before the first speaker gets up, we have something on the agenda here, consent agenda. And I don't know if I'm missing it, but I don't see a resolution 186.
A proposal was not provided to me in order to draft one.
So we're going to remove it.
Okay, so before we get speaking, 186 is stricken from the consent agenda for this evening.
Which one? I'm sorry.
26, 186. There's no backup in any of our paperwork for that. Okay, so we're open to the public for comments on any of the resolutions, 177 through 185. soon as takes a pass.
Motion to close public comment for consent. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. So next, we'll consider the consent agenda. Does any member of the council wish to pull an item for separate vote or discussion or have questions?
I don't want to pull it, but Resolution 26-184 and also Resolution 26-185, I'm very familiar with the grant situation, and neither one mentions, A, the amount of grant that they're going for, and B, the amount of money up front that Oradell may or may not have to pay, and where the funds are coming from. So I just was curious about that, and particularly 26-185, which sounds like a wonderful idea, but it doesn't say what, if any, costs are included with that and how those costs would be defrayed.
Council President, would you like to touch on that?
Yeah, so that's all good news. Again, it's for those not looking at it, submission for an application to Arts 14C for the 2026 World Cup art installation. So the genesis is I was down at the shore reading a shore paper, and the front page of the paper was a big giant soccer ball. It was this picture of art, and it was in Asbury Park, and the story had the art facility that sponsored that, and there are 23 soccer balls right now because of the World Cup in this metropolitan area. And the story said at the end of the World Cup, they would be donating them to local municipalities, parks, libraries, et cetera, and I called, I looked it up, and I called the place. 14C is the name of the art studio, I guess, in Jersey City. And I was lucky to get the person that runs the place, and I said, hey, we may have some interest for free to have that piece of art here for our borough. And so that's where it came from. And we just put in that application to be in that lottery to get one of those 23. We're going to find out, I think, by September 8th. So we had a little plan. So no cost, no installation, and you can Google that. But I don't know if it came in our packet, but it's probably a 6x6 soccer ball that there's 23 different ones from artists all over the world. So it's really a neat thing for our borough if we win this. And it's various designs and just a really neat thing memorializing the World Cup. So that's it.
And my second question was on the 26-184, the arts grant.
Yeah, so that is an annual grant, and the mayor could probably speak to that. It's from the county arts society or something, that there's money each year. This will be the 6th or 7th year
I'm
that we
very
have the arts
familiar with
festival.
that, but my question was, what does the borough have to put?
Nothing. Fully funded. Last year, I think it was $6,000, $5,000 or $6,000 every year that covers the arts festival. So it's just an annual application. There could potentially be some additional funding, but that's all, and that pretty much covers all of the costs for the festival that we have. So it's really just an annual event. Hopefully, we'll.
So there's no upfront money?
That's correct. Yeah, no, it's just a check that we get.
That's interesting. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Tom.
Really great, thanks. You're welcome.
Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
While we're talking about 185, the sculpture, is that a commitment by us to install this if we're granted?
No, that's the good thing. Yeah, that everything fully, and you can Google this probably, or we can send this out, but no, they bring it here and install it, and we had to, and that's really it. It's really just we have a town here, as we all know, we're a pretty busy town. If it's at the corner potentially of, we had to give them where could it be? And it was kind of a rushed process that the World Cup just ended, and this application pretty much had to be in the week later. So that's why, we discussed in the borough here to get this thing in. We told them potentially for Shura Park right here. We're a major thoroughfare. You got the train, you got this Kinderkamak on Oradell Avenue. Potentially that's where it could be.
Okay, but this is not committing us to that site for this sculpture. If we approve this
Yeah, I mean,
resolution.
I think that they would work with us. I mean, they're looking to foster arts, and if we had another idea, I'm going to assume that they may say, sure, why don't you put it?
So
But yeah, if they want a visible spot that, to memorialize the World Cup, that, I mean, I don't know when the last time I was here, but that's really it, just to show that art off.
Good. I'd like to look a little further into it myself,
Got it,
and
yeah.
and I appreciate the effort.
Yes, thank you. Yeah,
And
if
the-
you want to talk offline, let me know. Yeah.
Thank you. And then finally, 26-186, are we voting on that tonight? You
No,
pulled
I
that?
pulled it.
Oh,
There's-
okay.
We have no backup.
Pardon?
There's nothing to discuss. We have no
Yeah,
backup.
that's why I was asking. Yeah, okay, thank you. It's good not to vote on nothing.
Any other questions on the consent agenda? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second. Roll call, please.
Mr. Tashian? I'm sorry, Mr. Hilly?
Here, yes.
Mr. Tashian?
Yes.
Mr. Kern?
Yes.
Mr. Gullo?
Yes.
Ms. Sarah?
Yes.
Mr. Banfield?
Yes.
Okay, next on the agenda, I'm going to yield my time to the residents of First Street tonight so we can keep things moving. So, Council President Kelly, your report.
Yes, thanks, Mayor. Administration, we began working just recently on the upcoming UPS-EU contract, which expires at the end of this year. That's, I think, a 3-year term. So we look to really get into those discussions in the very near future with their representatives. And also the key focus, I think, here with everybody, whether it's the borough or personally, is trying to get ahead of how we plan for the health insurance and expected massive increases, once again, that we're going to see this year. So last meeting, we engaged with the insurance broker to hold our hands, to give us some guidance to get us through that process. So more to come on that, but that's also by year end. Summer Fridays, I think on the borough website, that's now coming to an end. I think that in general, that worked out okay. Again, we went from 5 days a week, 8 to 4, to Monday to Thursday, 8 to 4:30, and Friday, 8 to 1 p.m. for the building. And I think in general, I think it's worked out for the residents and for the folks, for our employees. So that's a good thing, but that's last day is next Friday. Finance, much to do heading into the last 4 months of the year. We're working on the capital budget. We have met with a number of the department heads. We're going to wrap up those meetings and should have some additional feedback for the rest of the governing body here in the near future. We're interviewing the CFO is interviewing for the finance clerk position, which we need to fill. We've gotten great reception, I think 30 plus resumes, so that's going on right now, and they're still accepting applications there. But along with healthcare, again, the challenges that healthcare expenses, the overtime, and the other related expenses that have come from primarily the July 4th storm, but the other storms that we had, obviously, it's a challenge that we're going to have to work out and have a plan for and to pay for all of those unexpected expenses. And on the other side of the positive side of the equation, we're kind of at the goal line. We did last meeting approve Provident as another bank that we could do business with. So it's really just to really negotiate, and it's working out. And we're at the goal line of maximizing on what we get paid on our cash. And those are real dollars here. That interest rates on this side of the equation for us are, as we know, still on the higher side. So those multiples really matter when we have millions of dollars in these banks here, and it's a very competitive business. So that's happening now as we speak. And again, that's good on the positive side to a large dollar amount, which is great. Hopefully offset some of those costs. Environmental beautification, we have a river cleanup at the Hackensack River Keeper on 9/12 right here in Oradell. That's really a neat day to get on the river. If anybody wants to help out and clean up, they provide the canoes and they provide a lunch in the morning. And you can get in the boat and clear out some of the stuff that's in that river that day. So there'll be more to come on that, but that's the 12th We're also going to be shortly rolling out from grants from Sustainable New Jersey a series of videos on recycling and smart recycling practices that should go to OPTV and I believe also Oradell YouTube. And there's also been some renewed energy to restart, I guess, a community garden in town, and it's a difficult process, but we have a number of folks that like to do that. We also have, again, Friendship House, who's helping us out with the plastic bags. They have some energy that they have committed to help us, and we're at the point of just looking to locate the right spot for that. So more to come on that when that happens, and obviously all help is welcome there. Seniors were scheduled to meet next Monday after kind of a summer break. Still a full, robust calendar, thanks to our staff here, and including archery, which was a couple of weeks ago, which I missed, but I heard that went pretty well. Bergen County Senior Festival 924 Advance On. And again, to thank our seniors, I mentioned, I know oftentimes the benches, plastic bags, they've really have been the ballast of that program, that it's in the senior center, and we have a couple of really dedicated seniors that keep that thing going. So it's a great community event of the seniors, the environmental community, and Friendship House that working together to clean up our area and to to get those benches that are in use here. And I think that's it. The arts, we're happy to get to apply for that grant. There's also talk of having a dance festival in the near future, so more to come on that, and that's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you. DPW and Engineering, Councilman Tashton.
Sure. So I'm going to start with engineering, and unfortunately the room emptied. But I just want to comment about this study in 1999. The actual recommendation of that study was to barricade First Street at Grant Ave and not allow any cars to turn on Grant Ave. Just so you know that was the history. And I heard the word compromise a lot tonight. The compromise was to put the sign for the no right turn. Okay, and I know that because my in-laws lived on the block during that time. So.
I want to speak now, but I know I can't.
All right. Just a comment. So DPW met today. We talked a little bit about trees and hiring outside services. Just an announcement for residents that any debris that remains from the storm is now the responsibility of the residents. The town did their sweeps, and if the branches weren't out at, when they were doing the sweeps, it's now the responsibility of the residents. I will make one exception for that, is the bottom of Soldier Hill Road was never cleaned up, and it's going to be closed on Thursday. So just plan your traffic accordingly. There was also discussion about the hiring of the laborers that were short there and starting the process of looking for an assistant supervisor. And that's all I have.
Just one question on the debris. If it's cut up compliant with the vegetation
It
pickup,
can go out with regular vegetation.
then they'll pick it up on Thursday.
That is correct.
Okay, thank you. Fire audit compliance ordinance, Councilman Kern.
Yeah, Mayor, I'll make this quick. So, fire department update. The Oradell Fire Department has responded to 287 calls so far in 2026. There has been an emergency communications issue that the fire chief raised. The fire chief has reported an ongoing issue with residents leaving voicemails on the department's office phone to report active emergencies such as fire alarm activations, carbon monoxide alarms, and natural gas odors. The department would like to mention that the office is not staffed 24/7. While the voicemail greeting has been updated explicitly to direct callers to hang up and dial 911, emergency voicemails are still being left. We ask that all residents that have an emergency must report directly to 911 to ensure a proper and immediate fire department response. As far as ordinance committee, we have an update with regards to a work zone ordinance in the works. The ordinance committee met with the police chief on Thursday the 20th to review a proposed amended amendment to Chapter 280, Vehicles and Traffic. The purpose of the ordinance draft creates Article 9 to establish centralized municipal authority over work zones, road openings, road closures, and ensuring uniform traffic control and protecting public safety. The ordinance ensures, as drafted, that all municipal traffic control operations strictly comply with Title 39, the New Jersey Department of Transportation, and the manual uniform traffic control devices. Just to give you a little more background, no contractor or utility or entity will be permitted to obstruct municipal roadways and the establishment of a work zone or implementation without prior approval from the Borough Police Department. And the police chief will have authority to determine if road detail is required and how many officers are needed. So this is something that's in the works and should be coming out hopefully within the next month. That's all I have.
Thank you, John. Public safety, technology, rec, special events, Councilman Gullo.
Yeah, just a couple key points to highlight on, given the interest of time. So this past week, the Borough Police Department traffic sergeant and detail conducted first of pedestrian safety walks in terms of simulations of people going through. I'm happy to report they wrote 60 summonses in 3 key areas of town. So I'm not going to go into detail of when this is going to happen again, but we just know that it's been very effective, and I commend the chief and the traffic sergeant for putting the time in for that, and just know that that will continue through over the next couple months. In terms of, let me just see here. Just kind of switching over to special events, we just finished up the concert series. We have our 9/11 ceremony on Friday, September 11th at the Firehouse, 6 p.m. All are welcome for the 25th anniversary of the memorial and the tragedy. In terms of playgrounds, we are fully aware and addressing the maintenance, specifically the mulch. And I'm happy to report that there will be a phased effort to get the high priority areas of Memorial and DPAC. In terms of the slide, good news, bad news, we are aware of it, is the good news. We have it on order. It's going to take 4 to 6 weeks. So we just be advised that that's something that we will be trying to put a temporary prevention device, if you will, over the slide. But obviously people are anxious to fiddle with those types of things. Lastly, I just wanted to mention 2 other dates, or really 1 other date, which is Saturday, October 10th. In the morning, the OK Kids Foundation will be handling or hosting their 5K race and fun run. Registration's open at oradellkids.org. And later on that afternoon, we will be hosting the annual Fall Fest at Memorial Field. All are welcome. And that's my report.
Thank you. Just one other thing. You want to make mention about the precautionary measures people should be taking with their cars and fobs and locking doors?
Yes. So as many of you have probably received, if you register for Oradell alerts, over the past 2 weeks, there have been maybe more than on one hand incidences where either cars have residents have been victims of theft with their cars, and or cars have been stolen because they've left key fobs in the cars. So just a public service announcement to take your key fob inside and lock your car.
Yes, make their job a little harder. Thank you. Historical Library, Economic Development, Councilwoman Harrer.
So the Historical Committee was on hiatus in this last month, but Sam Chipsis, Jill Barbarese, Lou Essler and Nick Bessink and I and Pat Schubert all are continuing to work on the historical pictorial book of Oradell, and there will be more of that as we go forward. The library also took a hiatus, but they have a wonderful website, and there's a lot of activities coming up, so I encourage you to look at their website and join in the activities for all ages of the public library. I'm working to set up an economic development conference in the fall, and you'll hear more information about that. I would like all our businessmen and business owners and people who want to, and businesswomen and people who want to do business in Oradell to consider being a part of that. And I will give you more information when it's ready. That's all.
Thank you, Councilwoman Herr. Board of Health, Municipal Drug Alliance, and Boards of Education, Councilman Banfield.
Thank you. First of all, I've asked for each member of the council to have a copy of the proposed public health shared services agreement between our borough and Bergen County. This it's a longer document, so I wanted you to have plenty of time to take a look at it. It's very similar to the one that the 3-year agreement, which expires in December of this year. So we'll need to make a decision about re-upping. Our current plan was roughly 17,000. This new one is coming in at 19,000. So there's a small increase. A remarkable array of services that are provided for that money, and I think we'll want to go with it. There will be an alternative possibility presented, so we'll discuss that, and we have a little time to do that. On August 19th, the Oradell Public School Board met. I learned that we are the biggest elementary school in New Jersey. I hadn't known that. They voted to approve an updated evacuation plan, educators' professional development plan, and a code of conduct which will include no internet-enabled devices from bell to bell. There's some minor details I think they still have to work out on that. They also congratulated and voted to hire Laura Calandra as assistant principal out of 120 initial candidates. The kindergarten playground has been refreshed. It's almost complete, and a replacement of a rooftop HVAC unit as well. The fence damaged at the playfield from July 4th storm will be repaired and a tree removed. And that's my report.
Thank you, Councilman. Joanne, anything from the Borough Attorney?
I have nothing tonight.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Atkinson.
Sure. Thank you. I'll try to keep it brief given the hour. So as you guys had indicated, the repairs to the concrete sidewalk are underway. I would anticipate Prospect Ave being done either tomorrow or the next day. Once they're done with Prospect, they will be heading over to Grant Avenue to take care of the sidewalk in that location. Original time frame was about a week and a half's worth of time to do the concrete work over there. So again, they'll be there later this week to get things started on Grant Ave as well, to get that addressed. Additionally, last time we met, we discussed the bank stabilization over on East Orchard Street. We did provide you guys with 4 different options that we looked into based on the DEP regulations of what we feel would be allowed based on the regulations. Spelled out different options and the costs related to them, basically varying anywhere from about 150 up to 250,000, which includes all your permitting costs and soft costs related to that particular work. Our office is in the process of establishing the boundary work over there because the borough owns the parcel where the brook runs through there. We're in the process of getting all the deeds and title search. And then our survey crews will be going out there within the next several days. We'll get information over to Ed's office, so in case people call, because there will be surveyor guys marked with bright yellow vests that say Negley on the back, walking through the properties, picking up the bank information, meaning the stream bank, as well as trees and that type of information, which will be needed for the permit process with the DEP.
Dave, a question regarding that. I saw the 4 proposals.
Mm-hmm.
Would you be able to provide some verbiage behind each one? it was basically just proposal, and there was
Sure.
no description of
Yeah, so I have
what each project was.
What I can do is I have, and I can hand them out to you guys, and I don't need the answers at the current moment, but there's some pictures that go along with it, which I think the pictures and illustrations would help you out significantly. So basically the four options that we have there was the bioengineering, which basically involves plantings and different things of that nature. Again, I'll hand these out so you guys have them. That was the first option. That it's kind of on par price-wise with doing riprap, which is basically just putting stone in the area and establishing those banks back to it, and that'll help preserve things over time. With the bioengineering, the idea is that the plant life and the stuff that's put there will help, contain all the vegetation and make it more green. Biggest issue with that is given the existing conditions over there and the steep slopes to your bank, which are almost vertical, the bioengineering process is a little more difficult. So that's why we have the riprap, which was option 2. Option 3 was going with gabion baskets. It's similar to the riprap, minus you can go with a little bit smaller of a stone. It goes into these wire baskets that basically get interconnected, and that locks everything in place. It allows you to go a little more vertical, which kind of replicates what you have there today. And then the last option would be going more with your traditional modular block wall. So a series of block walls that go, similar that you would see in people's backyards. Each one has pros and cons. Ultimately, the walls, the way the DEP regs are written, we have to bury everything 3 foot below current stream bank.
So, Dave, with that, it'd be interesting to see if you have what on that creek throughout the borough, what the borough owns and is responsible for. So is this a Band-Aid on one little, it's a 20 feet section or something? Are we...
It's a little bit longer than 20.
Or whatever
yeah,
it is,
yeah.
but do we have to worry about, even if behind Memorial, we own the creek, right? So is that nature that the whatever, it gets bigger and wider and some land falls off, and what are we responsible? Is this, obviously it's really expensive, and some parts of the creek homeowners own, right? It's their responsibility, some is ours. So is there another section, a quarter mile away that we're on the edge, and what is it? Just the unluckiness that this happened there, or is there a way to get ahead of that, etc.?
Sure. I mean, ultimately, this section here from Essex Street down to the Paramus border, for whatever reason being, when the parcels were created, it's a town-owned parcel, and it's strictly just for the brook.
So is it the waterway, or is it 3 feet on each side, or
it varies in width. It's anywhere from 40 to it's roughly about 40 feet in width, and then that whole span.
So it includes the water and
there's land behind it too.
Each side. So along that creek path, some places we do own, some we don't, and it's just
correct. Yeah. I mean, generally that stream through there is about 10 feet in width, roughly, and then it goes up, and then you have the land behind it. So there is a significant amount of land that.
And do we have to act if in the woods that, it's in the woods and a little piece caves in, do we have to go fix it, or that's nature?
No, I mean, the way the DEP kind of looks at the brooks and the waterways is the brook and the waterway, it's naturally going to go the direction that it wants to go. When you start to get into matters where, there's...
Where we have to fix it.
Where there's potential issues that could cause... harm to people's property and those different types of things, they understand and they have the rules written so that we can go in and address it. I mean, if you look north of there are people that have gone in, they've gotten their permits. I've seen them over the years of being the borough engineer where, they've gone in on their dime to basically install the modular block walls on their property to ensure that the bank is stable and follows its course there and doesn't continue to erode things away.
But this piece just happens to fall under we own, not the residents. So
correct.
It'd be interesting if it's easy to get which ones we own and which ones the residents own.
Yeah, so I mean, ultimately, as far as who owns what, I mean, that's something we can look at relatively easily. It's all in the tax maps, and we can overlay that. I know there are some maps that we've put together over the years that show the waterways and different things, so we can highlight that stuff. But primarily where we own the brook, it's from Essex Street going south to Paramus. Anything north of there is really on municipal property. So like Memorial Park, right? So we own that portion there. As we go further north, we have Lotus Woods, which the area that's known as Lotus Woods, that's borough-owned property. Besides that, there might be a couple little anomalies I'm missing, but those are the three key areas that the borough owns and is responsible for that brook.
So to your point about we need to act on this, obviously, is that there's homes there. We're in Lotus Woods. Yeah, there's some massive places where it's caved in, and that's nature.
Right. But what we do want to do, like in those particular areas, is you want to make sure there's no obstructions or blockages or those types of things to make sure that the water can flow. Those are things, from a maintenance perspective, that can be done.
Yeah, so just on a follow-up on that, I know that we are working on upgrading the paths in Lotus, Memorial, and Deepak. Is there a way, and I went in there the other day at Lotus, the path, which is great to be in there, to take a walk in nature, and we don't, we're fighting for nature, to go on the other side, the west side of the creek, where there, I don't know how much of property, but it looks pretty big. I haven't been over there, and the creek is small. Is there a way? It'd be awesome to have a little way to get to the other side of the creek and then kind of wind your way, and now I can have a quarter-mile walking path. If we have one shot at the bite of the apple here to do that, looks really nice in there, but you have a little creek that I'd have to kind of step over a foot of water to get over to. Right. You follow what I'm saying there?
Yeah, so
you follow
in that section of Lotus Woods, could you put something on that side? Sure. I think you're going to have to put more of a traditional bridge, like a pedestrian bridge going over top of it. It's not just a quick step over.
I don't know. I mean, I'm not an engineer, and we could have a scout project to have a nice little walking path through nature.
Sure. I mean, the path that's there, the one that we're proposing, is really just to redo the existing one that's there today. To go and add additional ones, it does get to be a little more complicated because it's not there today. Those areas are all within the wetlands, so it does complicate it a little bit more. Not to say that it can't be done, but it does complicate it a little bit more as far as the permitting side of things with it. There's process for the pedestrian bridge and that type of route.
Yeah, I mean, that would be the big thing to get. I mean,
and the key with the bridge, and one of the requirements is to ensure that the bridge is installed above the flood hazard area elevation.
I hear you.
There's a lot of
it's just something to think about, I think, if we're over there, because it looks like a pretty big piece of land that people can enjoy and walk their dogs and go for a run, if that's possible.
Earlier tonight, I went down to look at this property that had caved in, and I watched a 6-point deer going down, and I'm thinking, is that our responsibility? And what are we doing with the deer? They're using it as a pathway to go up and down. Anyway, it was a beautiful animal.
Yeah. So as far as that immediate area, that's something we need to address because the bank is not stable. So that needs to get addressed. Are there things along that corridor, big picture, that we'll need to address at some point? For sure. But right now, I think the focus is to get the immediate condition addressed, and then we can look at bigger picture, what needs to be done along that whole corridor and how to address things. There are limitations on what we can and can't do as far as different things. There's restrictions on so many feet of, different types of stabilization. Really, the DEP wants you to go with the more environmentally friendly plantings and that type of stuff. When you get into the hardscaping and that type of stuff, or hard armoring is the term they use, it is restricted.
Well, the bags included biology, right? So that things would grow in it and through it.
I mean, ultimately,
that was one of the things.
Like your riprap, or even the gabion baskets, you can get the plant life will grow in them. It's not like it won't.
I thought I read that it was actually included, that there's some in the bags, so that it was planned that it would sort of seed itself.
So what you can do is, like with the baskets, and what we've done elsewhere, they have what's called a live plant. All plants are live. but for whatever reason, this is the special name. When you see it, it looks like a dead twig, but it has roots and it gets embedded into the baskets, and then it starts to grow.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Mr. Hines, you have anything you want to add?
No, sir.
Okay. Entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
I do.
Thank you.
Hello.